Energy Media viewer Bruce Plant asks, if you were Premier of Alberta, what would you do differently than our current Premier when it comes to helping Alberta transition? Hey, I love this question, Bruce, because none of Alberta's policymakers and business leaders ever consider that the province's oil and gas industry could have a future different than its past. They all believe OPEC's forecasts, which show oil demand rising from 103 million barrels per day now to 120 million barrels per day in 2050. When Premier Danielle Smith says she wants to double oil production to 8 million barrels per day, she is repeating the OPEC view that we are entering the golden age of hydrocarbons. Well, I don't agree with that view. The assumptions behind OPEC's oil demand are already falling apart. The biggest miscalculation is that demand will fall in the global north because of electric vehicles, but growth in the global south will more than offset those losses. The problem is China. Not only is China rapidly electrifying its own economy, but it is aggressively exporting EVs to the rest of Asia, to Latin America, and to Africa. Chinese car companies are building EV factories all over the global south. The much more likely scenario, in my opinion, is the international agency's forecast that oil demand will peak in 2030 and begin declining before 2035. By 2050, only 57 million barrels per day of crude oil will be required. The IEA scenario is very bad news for Alberta. Now, the Smith government has a plan of sorts. 2 years ago, the UCP released the Emissions Reduction Responsible Energy Development Plan. Frankly, it's pretty weak. The focus is on decarbonizing oil and gas production at considerable expense and investing in a few clean energy sectors tied to hydrocarbons, like making blue hydrogen from natural gas. Well, I'd like to propose an alternate plan, one that is based on Energy Media's Canada 2050 strategy. The website is www.canada-2050.com. Canada 2050 has three simple parts. 1. Add value to Canada's natural resources. 2. Electrify the extraction and processing of those resources. 3. Build the infrastructure required to implement points 1 and 2 so that Canada can grow internally and internationally via ports on the west, east, and north coasts.